First, the federal court judge rules SAPA law is unconstitutional. Then he issues a stay on his own ruling. What does a stay mean? How does it benefit you as a gun owner here in Missouri? And what comes next in our fight to defend Missouri's Second Amendment Preservation Act? Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here with the Missouri Firearms Coalition. We're being flooded with questions from gun owners all about the Second Amendment Preservation Act, or SAPA law for short. And I understand why. When you have a liberal district court judge strike down the biggest gun rights victory in Missouri history, a lot of you guys are going to have questions. We recently did a full-length video interview with Attorney General Andrew Bailey, and we asked him all the questions you're asking us on the appeal process. How does that work? Where does it take place? What is the timeline on that? And everything else. But before that video even airs in the next day or two, I want to answer the number one question we're getting right now from everybody, and that is, what exactly is the stay that the judge has put on this opinion? What is a stay? What does it mean? What does it mean for me individually? What does it mean for Missouri? Guys, we're going to answer that question in this video right now. So again, to recap, Missouri SAPA law says that Joe Biden cannot use our cops to advance his gun control agenda. If Biden wants to have federal agencies and federal agents enforce gun control here in Missouri, that's one thing, but our cops are off limits to him. That's what SAPA legislation is all about. Last week, Judge Wimes, a lower district court level judge in Kansas City, issued an opinion saying that SAPA law is unconstitutional. Of course, he did not talk about really any of the constitutional underpinnings of SAPA. He didn't talk about the anti-commandeering doctrine. He didn't even talk about the Prigg versus U.S. Supreme Court case that kind of undergirds SAPA. He hardly even talked about the Prins Supreme Court case from 1997, where the federal government was told by the Supreme Court they could not force county sheriffs to enforce federal gun control laws. So he calls it unconstitutional, but never actually talked about the constitutional undergirdings of this law. Notwithstanding, though, the next thing that Judge Wimes did the next day was issued a stay in this case. And what that means is, well, he has issued his opinion calling SAPA unconstitutional. Judge Wimes also knows this case is going to be appealed by the state of Missouri. And so he, in this case, rightfully so, issued a stay, which means that SAPA is still law today here in Missouri. It's still to be enforced. It's still to be obeyed by law enforcement here in Missouri today. And so for Missourians, you're still protected by SAPA law today, right now, because of this stay. Now, the stay is short. I believe it's 14 days. It might be 21 days. And so what that has done, though, is given time for Attorney General Andrew Bailey to ask the Eighth Circuit for a permanent stay, so to speak, until the case can be argued in front of the entire Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals. That process is going to take some time. They'll likely have oral arguments late this summer. And again, we're going to answer all these questions in our video with Attorney General Bailey. You're going to love that video. Make sure and watch for that. But the immediate short-term challenge then is to get the Eighth Circuit to extend the short-term stay to make it a long-term stay all the way until we have oral arguments before their court later on this summer or fall. So we'll let you guys know if and when that happens. But for today, for right now, SAPA law is still fully in effect here in Missouri. We haven't lost any of that. And that stay is in place at the order of Judge Wimes, the same judge who says SAPA is unconstitutional, but he realizes that he needs to give time for the state of Missouri to appeal this matter to the federal circuit court bench. That is underway right now. So guys, great news in that regard. MOFC is going to fight like hell as well to defend Missouri's SAPA law in court. Our legal team has already has reviewed the entire opinion from Judge Wimes. It is frankly a laughingstock. As I mentioned, it does not discuss almost any of all of the Supreme Court precedent, which backstops SAPA, never mentions the anti-commandeering doctrine, which also backstops SAPA. He basically said that SAPA is bad. I don't like SAPA, so you can't have SAPA. Well, that means that we have lots of room for our amicus briefs to respond to this ruling. And guys, now we're going to ask for your help to help us engage in this battle. You know, the state of Missouri has their appeal, but we're going to be augmenting that with our amicus briefs ourselves. We've done this every step in the court process so far: circuit court, state Supreme Court, federal court, and now we're going to do it again in the 8th Circuit, but we need your help, guys, to make this happen. I'm going to drop a brand new feature here on our videos. Put this QR code on the screen. If you guys want to donate to help us fight to defend SAPA law in the 8th Circuit, hit that QR code or a link above or below this broadcast and make a donation today. You know, the SAPA legislation that we passed here in 2021 is the ramifications, the impact is so much bigger than constitutional carry or stand your ground law or lifetime carry permits, because at the end of the day, this is a gun law. But more important than that, we are asserting state sovereignty. We're not just going to protect the Second Amendment, but also our 10th Amendment. And what we're doing with SAPA law is we're telling Joe Biden and the entire federal bureaucracy in D.C. that they can pass all the tyrannical BS they want in Congress if they can get the votes, or they can bypass Congress with administrative rules and regulations and executive orders. But that does not mean that we are required to enforce it at the state level. And what SAPA has become is not just a gun law in Missouri. It has become a surrogate for the entire idea of state sovereignty, the 10th Amendment, and the anti-commandeering doctrine. And more states now are realizing that they have the authority to tell Joe Biden, yeah, sorry, dude, you can pass whatever you want. We're not required to enforce it in our state. And so the ramifications of SAPA have gone through the moon compared to what they were when it was first passed 2 years ago here in Missouri. So again, guys, donate today and help us engage in this fight. We need to raise a substantial amount of money quickly to get our amicus briefs underway and filed on time. The way the deadline is looking to us, and we asked this to AG Bailey today in our earlier interview, we believe the state has until May 1st to file their appeal. And if our lawyers, if we're reading this right and our lawyers tell us that we are, we then have 7 days to file our amicus brief to augment the state's appeal. That means that time is running out. We have about 6 weeks until we have to file it, and that means we have to fund it first. We need your support, guys. Hit the QR code on your screen, the link above or below, and make a donation today to help the Missouri Firearms Coalition fight for you. I want to be very blunt about something. You know, we were there every day almost during session in 2021. We were there in the committee process, clear back in 2020, again in 2021. We were there putting pressure on the rhinos, especially in the Senate, who were trying to kill SAPA. Our team was there day in, day out. The Missouri Firearms Coalition members and our office staff are the reason for all the outside pressure, which made it possible for SAPA to pass. It would not have happened if we hadn't had the pressure on the inside from guys like Jared Taylor, from guys like now Congressman Eric Burleson. But on the outside, all the pressure that we flooded the Capitol with, that was done by the Missouri Firearms Coalition. We never had the support of a single national gun rights organization in the entire fight. We had no support from any other state-level organizations in the entire fight. And so now what we're seeing is almost every national gun rights organization in America is now claiming that they're the reason why Missouri enjoys SAPA law. And they are now asking all of you to donate to their legal defense fund to help them defend SAPA. But guys, they were never involved in the fight for SAPA. And frankly, some of these same national organizations who are going to fight in court have not fought in court to date. So when you're being asked to donate to organizations who are going to help you fight for SAPA, just remember there was nobody on the ground besides the Missouri Firearms Coalition, and there's been almost nobody in the court proceedings to date besides the Missouri Firearms Coalition. So be careful who you give money to, guys. hit the link, hit the QR code, donate today. We'll keep you guys informed, and make sure you keep your eyes peeled for our next video, which is our full-length video interview with Attorney General Andrew Bailey on the entire process, the timing, and the strategy behind his plan to save Missouri's SAPA law in circuit court, guys. Share our video online, and we'll keep you informed. Take care.